daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Manchester United podcast. Yes, you are in the right podcast. We do have a new jingle at the start of the episode. It almost threw me off as well, but yes, a snazzy little tune for the new season. And yeah, another episode coming your way. And today we are going to be previewing the Fulham game at the weekend. And I'm your host for this evening, Niall, and I'm delighted to be joined once again by Tom Cairns. Tom, how are you?
Hello, Niall, and hello to everyone. Yep, not long now before we travel to Craven Cottage to face a Fulham side who are looking to build off that last-minute draw they picked up at Brighton. And we'll be able to go there and grab all 3 points and get off the mark for the new season and gather a little bit of momentum.
That's the plan. And I don't know about you, but I love matches at Craven Cottage. It just reminds me of that kind of Ronaldo goal on the left-hand side, left foot into the bottom corner. I think Garnacho had a very similar one last minute, right foot bottom corner a few years ago as well. We always kind of wear black shorts, black socks, red jersey. I don't know. It's just something about that ground that really interests me for the game. Are you looking forward to it, or you think it's going to be just one of those forgettable ones?
No, I am looking forward to it. I mean, Craven Cottage has not been a bogey ground for us, certainly not in recent years. I just looked into the stats actually about our record at Craven Cottage. We've won in our last 8 visits there, including last season.
Considering how bad we've been, that's mental, isn't it?
Yeah. The last time we failed to win at Craven Cottage was in August 2010. That was when we drew 2-2 against a Fulham side who were managed by Mark Hughes. Paul Scholes opened the scoring. Then Fulham came back twice in the second half to rescue a point, and the man who got the second equaliser was the one who scored the own goal to put United 2-1 up. So it was a crazy, crazy game.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about the stadium. It's probably one of those ones that are left in terms of a historic stadium and a really old one in the Premier League. So something about it that I'm really looking forward to. But not only the stadium, I mean, such a promising performance last week, despite having not come away with anything. I'm kind of bouncing coming into this weekend, really looking forward to seeing all the new signings again. We spoke quite highly about Mbemo and Cunha last week. In terms of the starting team, Tom, you think it's going to be something similar, or what's your kind of thoughts going into the game?
I would expect Sesko to start this time. Mm-hmm. I think he needs to start over probably Mount, but I would expect Mount to come on in the second half and just bring a little bit of stability, because they will want to rest Sesko for the upcoming League Cup tie for obvious reasons, and go up against Burnley and then head into the international break with our heads high, aiming to continue that form. But I would say Sesko will start in that recognised number 9 role, with Mbemo and Cunha in the 10s. And it's a question mark, I think, who is going to end up playing in the 8s or in the 6s. No, it's going to be more or less 8s, isn't it? Because we're looking at box-to-box midfielders now as opposed to central defensive midfielders. It's probably going to end up being Bruno and Casemiro in those 8s, with Dorgu on the left, Ahmed on the right, and then you're looking at probably the same back 3 as what it was against Arsenal. Mm-hmm. It's a question as well whether Onana's going to be in between the sticks, because I looked at the injury list. Onana's name was not up there. So is that the assumption that he's going to be in goal this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he actually goes with. Obviously, we saw the press conference during the week with Amarim about really backing his player with Bioniq. So it'll be interesting to see if he sticks with him going into this game against Fulham. Really exciting team as well. You know, it was kind of clear that we'd play Dalot at right wing back against a stronger opposition like Arsenal. But the thought of Ahmad and Mbemo down that right hand side for the guts of 90 minutes at Craven Cottage at the weekend is going to be really exciting. We saw how positive Dorgu was as well against Arsenal, and how he was kind of really manning that left hand side nearly by himself, with Cunha kind of drifting anywhere he liked. But I think that front three is something that we've been looking forward to seeing since we saw the Sesko deal get over the line. Just to see how the interplay works. It's a brand new front three. To see if there's kind of initial chemistry there as well. So I think it is important that Sesko starts and gets embedded into the team as quickly as possible, because it seems as if it's the main option this year, with United as a club really looking to push Højlund out the other side of the door and to make as much room for Sesko. So it will be interesting to see how it goes on. In terms of the midfield, Kaby Menuh, what's your thoughts on this? It just doesn't seem to be that he's able to get in at the moment. In the pecking order behind Ugarte as well, it seems like there's only one spot available for him in the team, and that is that position beside Bruno in the 2-8s, like you mentioned. Do you think this is a game for him, or what's your thoughts on Menuh in general?
He'll be on the bench. Will he get any minutes? I think it depends on the nature of the game. I think if we're leading comfortably and we're looking like we're going to be coming away with all 3 points, that's when I think Menuh will get a start. I would say he'll be involved in the League Cup tie at Grimsby. That would be my take on it. But I don't think it's too much of a concern to me, because United need options in there, and there's going to be injuries and suspensions throughout the season anyway. And that's when Menuh can take his opportunity and make himself as a viable option to play in that 8 alongside Bruno, should he need to be. Or even coming in for Bruno if Bruno gets suspended or injured.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one with Menuh, because when he really burst onto the scene with Ten Hag, he was that deep lying playmaker, taking the ball off the centre halves and dictating play and being defensive in terms of his work rate as well. And Amram just hasn't really seemed to fancy him, and he has been injured. He's been in and out of the team. He's gotten a lot bigger as well in terms of his frame, and kind of what player he's developing into. I'm not too sure. Then we had the system change, so a lot of things have changed for him, and he's kind of, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, you would have been saying this guy's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet going forward for United, after coming off the back of the Euros and everything. So it's just interesting to see how he actually makes his way back into that squad. But yeah, hopefully he can put in a good performance in the League Cup against Grimsby. But yeah, Fulham. Did you catch any of that game against Brighton? Obviously, the last gasp equaliser from Muniz.
I was at the game, Niall.
I thought you mentioned that earlier on in the week. Yeah. How was it?
It was good. I mean, in terms of the nature of the match, it wasn't that great. But it was good to be there, and obviously saw the tributes to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. God bless them. But I think overall, I don't think either side played well enough to win the game. I think Brighton had slightly more chances to what Fulham had. I thought Fulham got lucky with that last-minute equaliser that Muniz got, because it was a scrappy corner, but Muniz was in the right place at the right time on that far post to just tap it in. And yeah, as soon as that went in, the Brighton fans, including myself and the friend of mine, had all left to catch the train, because around where Farmer is, it's a very busy area and it can get quite hectic. So, but in regards to the game, I think Fulham are going to end up being what they were last season, because they've hardly bought anyone in. I think they've only bought one player in, and that's a goalkeeper who they bought from Montpellier for like £500,000. And players like Willian has moved on. They've kept hold of the likes of Tom Kearney and Josh King, who have been instrumental in Fulham's rise. I'll say rise, just keeping hold of their place in the Premier League, really, because the last few seasons before they've been in the Premier League since 2022, they've had really, really dogged periods there, but they've done well to stay in the league for as long as they have done. There's only a couple of injuries which I've spotted that Fulham have, and that's Anthony Robinson and Ryan Sessegnon. I couldn't pick up on what the injuries were, but I don't expect them to be lengthy injuries for Fulham. Their injury list is about the same as what Man United have got, with Martinez, who's expected to be out until the end of November, whereas Mazraoui is expected to come back around about the end of the month, if not after the international break.
Okay. Yeah, Anthony Robinson used to give us a lot of bother, so probably kind of happy he's not going to be playing. A player I wanted to ask you about from Fulham, and he's always kind of rumored or linked with United on Twitter, which is 95% of players across the world. But Sander Berger in midfield, probably a type of profile of player that we need. It's clear that United have been in the market for a midfielder and for that type of, I suppose, controller in the midfield as well, and being able to kind of dictate play. He has a good frame about him and seems to be very good on the ball as well. Did he stand out to you at all in that game, or was it more of it was a dull watch in general?
It was just a dull watch, really. I don't think Berg really impressed me enough to think that he warrants being in that Manchester United team. I mean, one of the points I took away from that game, I was closely watching Carlos Baleba. I could see why United wanted him.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, he's good at holding the ball up very well in midfield, and he's good at going at sort of attacking players or pressing net players when he needs to. But considering how wide the pitch is, you don't want to be losing so much energy just chasing down players and pressing them. But Carlos Baleba is good at holding the ball up and creating solid passes and putting together links between him and players.
Which is what you need in that position.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and the flow of the play which Brighton had put together when Baleba was playing was absolutely brilliant. What lacked was that final bit of quality in the final third to put together the finishing touch, essentially, because there were a couple of opportunities after they'd gone 1-up where they should have put the game away, and I think Baleba had played a huge role in putting together those chances, which is something that United need in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at the front three there with Harry Wilson, Josh King, Iwobi, and then also Jimenez up front or Muniz coming on and actually getting the equaliser. I thought United looked quite steady in defence and quite good in defence against Arsenal. Arsenal kind of put in that classic, go a goal up and kind of protect the lead, so they weren't really penetrating the United defence an awful lot, particularly in the second half. Last year, I think I would have been a little bit less confident in terms of us being able to deal with that. But I think, there's nothing too scary there in terms of the attacking threat from Fulham. Is there any of them that kind of stand out to you that you think we probably need to keep an eye out for?
Harry Wilson, certainly. I thought Harry Wilson played phenomenally well in that game against Brighton, in my opinion. So he's someone that we need to keep honest. It's difficult to say with strikers because strikers have different attributes to how they control the ball or what they do off the ball. But either way, the back three need to keep Wilson honest. There was a thing about when teams like Fulham or even Arsenal attack, if you got three at the back and you've got two going at you, obviously you're outnumbering them with the number of defenders you've got there. Sometimes you bring your right centre half out of play into the middle to put off the player that's got the ball, so that it leaves him with less options as to where to play the ball to. And sometimes one of your midfielders, like the right wing back or whatever, like Ahmed, would slot into that position that's left over. So it's about taking the opposition players out of the game, really, when they're going on the attacking front towards the 18-yard box. And Harry Wilson is going to be one of those that United needs to pick up on and not allow him too much time and space, because we know what he can do in terms of scoring goals from outside the penalty area. I think we've seen it before somewhere. I can't remember which games, but he's lethal when it comes to his strike. Yeah, with his striking ability. So he's going to be one to look out for. Josh King, United players or United fans know what he can do. He's penetrated us in the past. I don't recall him doing so for Fulham, but he did when he was over at Bournemouth years ago. So he's another one we need to keep quiet. And then I think the most important thing really is just when Fulham have the ball, is just obviously you want to press them, but not too much. Just allow them possession if you need to. And when you get the hold of the ball, just go on the break and attack them, because I think that is Fulham's weakness.
Yeah,
because they got caught out on the break a couple of times a little bit when Brighton were going at them. Brighton should have put them away, and I don't see Fulham coping with the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha and perhaps Sesko as well when they go in on the counter. If Brighton can't do it, there's a chance that United will, and I think United will end up penetrating them when it matters most.
that's what we like to hear. Good stuff. Okay, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with how we think the game is actually going to pan out.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now. Your body is unique.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
I mentioned at the start of the show that I'm really looking forward to the game, not just because it's in Craven Cottage. I think I went a little bit overboard on how good that stadium is, but it was the first time in a long time that United had dominated the ball in terms of possession against Arsenal at the weekend. And, you'd be coming into a game, even against Fulham or the kind of smaller teams that you would say that we were fighting and scrapping with last year in terms of down at the bottom of the table. Those teams would be dominating the ball and we would be counter-attacking, and that's how we were set up for years and years. And I'm really looking forward to actually going there and being able to dictate play and really put our foot in the ball. You mentioned our abilities to counter-attack because of that newfound pace that we have in the front three. But what sort of display do you think United are going to put on here at the weekend? Do you think that they're going to build on that momentum from Arsenal, or do you think it could be a bit of what we saw last season and a bit of a whimper going into the weekend?
I think Fulham will be more stubborn defensively compared to how Arsenal were, but I think it's about finding the spaces and actually go with them. I don't know how often we're going to go on the counter, because we don't really score goals on the counter at Craven Cottage when Fulham are set out to play against us. It's also maybe about working on our set pieces, because that's a clear weakness that we have. And I'd expect Fulham to be prepared for those kind of situations.
Defending them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
defending them. So I think it's going to come down to the creative side of things. If Ahmad is set up to play, or at least start, because he didn't start at the weekend. Who was it that was starting? It was Dalot, wasn't it? Dalot was starting on that right wing back role before Ahmad came on, and Ahmad made a positive impact when he came on. So I'd expect Ahmad to be involved, and if he's involved, his crossing ability is going to come in handy for Sesko to get on the end of it and just put Fulham away, really. It's just a matter of, will everyone else turn up? Will Mbeumo turn up? Will Cunha turn up? Will Bruno turn up? I'm confident they will do, but it's a different feel on the day to what it is when you're discussing about it a few days before.
Yeah, it's easy to get up for the first game of the season at home against Arsenal. These are the games where, you're away from home against Fulham. That's not something that you're going to bed dreaming about. So it's just that the right mentality is there for these players, that they're coming there on a bit of a mission this season to actually go and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and go get 3 points in all these matches. So I am really positive that they are going to build on that, because I really did think that there was a big difference last week compared to anything we saw for a long time. And I think that the crossing point you mentioned is important. Obviously, with Sesko playing, the sheer dominance of him in the air and the physical presence that he has, we haven't really had a striker like that in a long time. And I think with the crossing abilities of Ahmad, like you mentioned, but also Mbeumo, and being able to kind of have those dinked, lofted crosses as well, where he's cutting back in on his left foot, I think will really suit Sesko. And of course, then the kind of penetrative runs from Cunha, the kind of crossing ability of Bruno as well, and the kind of range of passing that he has. I think there's a lot of different ways that we can attack teams now, and I think that's really exciting. And it really keeps the opposition guessing of who do you actually shut down, because you put a bit of emphasis on the defending United's right hand side where you have Mbeumo and Ahmad, and then you leave space for Cunha or Bruno on the other side. While last year we were kind of just relying on a bit of Bruno magic, and it wasn't getting us too far. So I think we've developed more attacking threats this year, and I think that's really going to pay off. So I'm looking forward to the game, and hopefully we can get the 3 points. To wrap it up, Tom, score predictions. What do you reckon? How do you think the game's going to pan out at the weekend?
I think it'll be 3-0 to Manchester United. I think they'll go out and give it their all and put in a very, very convincing performance, and there'll come a point in the game where they can just see it out, I think. Give players a rest, give those a go in preparation for the game against Grimsby.
Who's getting the goals?
And Mbeumo will get 1.
Mm-hmm.
Cunha will get 1, and I think Sesko will get 1.
That would be the dream.
Yeah, I think Bruno will assist 2 of them, and I think the other maybe from it'll probably be like Cunha to Sesko for Sesko's goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Cunha will get 2 goals and an assist in the game.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go for 2-0. I think Cunha will get a goal, and I think Bruno will get a penalty or something like that later on in the game. But yeah, really, really positive going into the game. We spoke about kind of the threats of Fulham, what we kind of need to look out for. We mentioned as well how we think United will set up, probably a bit more attacking from the lineup that we saw against Arsenal. So yeah, really looking forward to it. 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. I'm sure we'll be getting a good live reaction after the game, and hopefully it'll be a positive one. But Tom, thank you very much for joining me this evening. This episode will be available for you Friday morning as you get ready for the weekend. So thank you very much for listening. And you can find us on social media, GSPN Man United. Comment away on the TikToks. We're flying. We've got new social media people now, so we're getting a lot more content out there. Let's get a bit of a debate going in the comments as well. And if you're enjoying the podcast, then you can listen on any of the platforms that you listen to your podcasts on. But Tom, thank you. And I love the positivity going into the weekend. Bit of a change from last year.
I should think so too.
We'll see you in the next one.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.